Hi everyone, welcome to another episode. Today we will write the HTML code necessary for our application. So here we can get a short look of more or less where we are going. So here I have the initial idea, and let's see what we can do today. So once again, the goal is to write the HTML necessary. Okay, so we are here, we have our file open that we have created last time, and let's for now remove this part. So what we want to do is, first off, we want to create a card. So we create a div, and we give it a class card. Classes, of course, we will later on use to style these elements. If you don't know what HTML classes are or what CSS is, I would highly recommend going through some basic course, for example, in the front-end developer path on FreeCodeCamp. There you'll be able to get all the necessary knowledge for this. But okay, we have a card. So cards usually have a body. Card-body. And inside the body, inside the body, we will later on create some things, but what we also need is a header. And really deciding how you divide your HTML page into different divs or different sections comes down to experience and I guess learning some basic design features. But after we have a header, inside the header, let's do what we already had. So let's write our title. Okay, and I refreshed this on the right hand side here, and we can see that that nothing basically has changed. Okay, let's move on to our body currently. Inside our body, what we want to have is we want to have the form which allows us to add the to-dos, and we want to have the two columns which allow us to add the to-dos. This is one column, and then the column which will contain the to-dos that we have already completed. So okay, let's start perhaps with the form. So we create a form. We will create a label. We'll say for to do, and here we'll create an input that will have will be of a type text. We'll have an ID of to do, and we'll have a name of to do. Okay, and then we'll have a button of a certain class. Let's for now call it button. And this button will have a type of submit, so that it submits our form. So by default, if you created this button and it was the only button in the form and you didn't have the type submit, it will actually submit the form. But I just like the way to be a little bit more verbose. Okay, and we will say add. Okay, let's save that. Let's refresh it on the right hand side. Okay, and here we can see that the input field has been added, and here it seems like we have missed a title. To do. Let's give it a title of to do. What the title does is if you now hover over the input, it just shows you the title. And of course, what we missed is we missed the title here. So let's just say new to, let's save, refresh on the right hand side, and we can see now that we have a label. Okay, we can move on. What we want to do next is work on the two columns. Now, let's for now create a div. This div will be the, let's give it a class so that we have it organized. Let's give it card body call left, and this will be our left column. So it will have an h2 of to do, and then let's also create our right hand side. So let's copy this one. Let's give the call right class. Okay, and this will not be to do, this will be done. Okay, let's save that. Let's refresh it. So for now, these are not columns, of course. We'll make them into columns with CSS. So for now, they are just some sections on our page. Now, what I like to usually do is I like to add some test data, just so that we can see when we'll try to write the CSS, how things will more or less look like. So here, now what we want to have is we want to have the list of to-dos. So the list of to-dos, they will be a list. Inside this list, we will have some rows, some list items in our case. Let's maybe here for the list, give it a class of card body because it's inside card body to the list. And maybe the rows will have a class of to-do row. So once again, here we will have a list of all the to-dos, and here the list items will be the to-dos. So okay, so inside the list item, let's put some I don't know, dummy text. So let's say, for example, write HTML. Let's maybe copy that. Let's say 3 times. Here, let's say write CSS, and here let's say write JavaScript. Okay, let's refresh that, and we can see that we have an ordered list here. Fantastic. So currently, let's do the same thing for the. Let's do the same thing for the already done to-dos. So once again, we already have an H2 tag. So let's do an OL for an ordered list, and let's paste our text text here, and let's replace it with something else like record an intro, setup and the third one we can remove. Okay, let's save. Let's refresh it on the right hand side. Okay, so we already have this. But now what we need is we need a way to remove the to-dos, or we need a way to actually to mark the to-dos as done. So in our case, we need a way of moving them from the top to the bottom. How we can do that is here for every to-do that we generate, we want to have a form. And inside this form, we want to have one button. And in this case, let's start with the deletion. It's something cool that you can use. If you say ampersand times and then semicolon, it will create a button, or it will create a button with a nice X in the middle. And this is something that that we can use. Okay, so let's copy actually these things, and let's paste them here. Okay, so now we have the buttons here, but of course for now they do not have any functionality, and the functionality will focus on adding when we will be building the backend of our application. For now, it's just a template so that we can more or less see what features are necessary and what endpoints we need for our backend. Okay, so this would mean, or these buttons would be used to delete the to-dos, So now let's also create buttons that will allow us to submit some buttons. Basically, we do it in the same way, but not in the same form. It's not a very good idea. Let's copy the form. So the form for now will be basically the same. Later on, we'll make some changes here. But instead of this 8 times, let's use something different. Let's say ampersand hashtag 10003 ampersand. Okay, and this should give us exactly a nice button with a nice sign that suggests that you click here, and then this to-do is moved into the list at the bottom. Okay, that works great. Let's copy it, let's paste it here. And then we have it. Fantastic. We also want to have a possibility of deleting the to-dos from the done list, so let's also add it here. Okay, and now we have it. So currently we have created the lists for the to-dos and for the items that are already done. We have added the buttons that will later on function as a way for us of marking the to-dos as done or on deleting the to-dos. But now we have already made quite a nice progress, and I think we are getting these warnings here because once again we did not put the button types here. So let's do that. Let's copy this. Let's put it here on the type attributes, here on the buttons, and here and here and here, and this should be gone. And our page should still work, but we have made currently quite a good progress. So let's commit these changes to our version control. So let's go through the process first manual. So what you want to do is first you want to write git status. This is not necessary, but this just shows you what you have modified. And in order to add these changes to the staging area, you say git add. And the staging area is where your version control, so in this case where git will make the snapshots from, also called commits. So we'll say that now git commit and -m for a commit message that is that you must write. And let's think about a nice commit message. We have what did we do? We created HTML draft. Okay, one file changed, and now we have already committed the changes. We can now publish. We can now publish our branch. So let's say git push, and it will first. If you are pushing a branch to a remote repository for the first time, it will display you this kind of message. What you need to do is you need to copy this. You need to paste it right here, and it will allow you to push these changes to your remote repository, and you should be able to see them in the remote repository. If we now go to GitHub very quickly, we now can see that we had a push 2 minutes ago. So right now, because I'm creating different branches for different episodes, let's go to episode 2, and we can go into the app folder, into the index.html file, and we can see our HTML file that we have created. And this is, I guess, also important for you. I will be creating the branches after every episode so that you can see or you can check out the code after every episode, so you can just compare your version with the version that I am creating. Okay, so this is most of the HTML that we'll need. Maybe when we'll be styling out this page, we'll see that some of the classes are missing, so here we'll add something. We'll definitely need to add some actions for the forms so that they go to the correct endpoint. But for now, I think that's mostly it. I now just saw that here the type once again is missing for some of the buttons. So let's add this, let's save, let's refresh it on the right hand side. And we can see that everything works. looks for now a little bit ugly, but we will deal with that in the next episode. So for now, I would say thank you for watching. And in the next episode, we'll try to begin with the backend. So we'll try to add the functionality to the buttons which mark the to-dos as done, and to the buttons which remove the to-dos. And we'll probably also handle, or actually we'll do it first, we'll work on adding new to-dos to the list.